doors and windows. What you see here is a preliminary rendered view of some panels of glass that are between the living room, dining room, and the courtyard. Now I'm in my top view. These are the frames that I've already created. I'm going to create one right here to show you how to do this. The opening for these doors and windows will be right here. So the first thing I need to do is to take some measurements to see how big the frame needs to be. I type in distance and I check from this point right here to this point right here, and I get a width of 18 feet and a height of 10 feet. I'll have one fixed panel here, one here, and the two center panels will slide open. So I take my 18 feet and I divide it by 4, and I get 4 feet 6 inches. So I'll make one panel that's 4 feet 6 inches by 10 feet high, and I'll make copies of that. So I'm going to pan over to the side where I'll construct the panel that I then make copies of. So I've created a layer for the frame, that's this part, for the glass, and for some panels. So I have 3 separate layers for this for these door and window frames. So I've set my current layer to frame, and now I'll make a box. Type in box, BOX. Pick a point, type in at, my width will be 4 feet 6, my height will be 10 feet, and I'll make my frame 6 inches deep. So looking at my frame from Southwest view, this is what I see. I'll zoom in closer, zoom, window. Now I'm going to draw the frame within the box. So what I'll end up doing is sort of eliminating portions of the frame, and then I'll place glass in them. So I'll use the X-line command to generate some construction lines so that I can then draw the frame on the surface of the box. So X-line, and then I'm going to make a number of offsets. The bottom one I'm going to make a 4-inch offset. The top I'll make a 2-inch offset. I've just made 2 vertical X lines, and I'll offset those 2 inches. Alright, those are my offset lines right there. I'm also going to put a panel that's of a different type of material up at the top, but I'll make the glass part 8 feet tall. So I'm going to now offset a 96 or 8 feet and another 2 inches. Right, now I'll look at it from the left view in elevation. Here I am looking at the frame from the left view, and what I'll do is I'll make rectangles at these intersections. So I type in rectangle, and then I snap to here, and here, and to here, and here. Then I can erase the X lines. Don't need them any longer, like so. Now I'll look at it again from Southwest view. So from Southwest view, you can see the rectangles that I just constructed, and they're drawn on the surface of the box. Next, I'll imprint those rectangles on the surface. So go to the Home tab and look for Imprint. You'll be asked to imprint a solid surface. So I'm going to pick the box first, and then I'll select what I want to imprint on the box. Do I want to delete the source object? Yes. Otherwise I'll have a duplicate, and I pick another rectangle, and yes. All right, now when I roll the cursor over it, I should see that everything is highlighted. The rectangles are now imprinted on the box. I'm going to show you how to take those rectangles that were imprinted on the box and sort of extrude them through the frame. I'll use the press pull tool for this. So it's this icon right here. Click on that icon, select the box, and then select the rectangle. All right, I'm going to guide it with my cursor, and I'm going to input -6. And I'll do the same thing with the upper rectangle. Here you can see the frame in conceptual view. So now there's a hole here and a hole here. And what I'll do is I'll put a glass panel in the lower one, and I'll put another panel in the upper one. So I'm going to go to the Layer Manager and set my layer to glass. And then I'll construct a rectangle in that opening. Okay, I'll go back to 2D wireframe, and I'll use the Extrude tool to give thickness to the glass. 0.5. And I'll do the same thing for the panel that I'm going to put at the top. Make that the current layer, make a rectangle, and then use the Extrude tool to give thickness to it. Now I'm in the top view, and what I'm going to do is move those two panels so that they're centered within the frame. So 3.25, should put them precisely in the middle. Then I'll go to the left view. Once I have everything assembled, what I'll do is I'll make a block out of it so that if I want to make any changes, I can update them globally. So now it's defined as a block, and I can insert and move and copy. Now I've inserted the panels and positioned them in the wall between what is the bedroom here and what is the courtyard over here. You may find that they're not in position where they need to be relative to the z-axis. So here I am looking at it from the right view, and I can see that when I've inserted them, they're too low. So what I need to do is move them up 10 feet so that they're in the correct position. Then what you can do is assign materials to those units and run a rendering. So now I'll make a rendering looking back at the window panels. These are the ones that I just made, and these are the ones that I had already. And here's a preliminary video, or a preliminary rendering of that view.